Welcome to a Livestream Monday. Happy Monday. If your Monday's been like mine, it has not been so happy. I managed to lose my driver's license today, but that is okay because I know it will show up. Today, we are going to talk about aligning real life with our menstrual cycles. Yes, today is a vagina day. So I want to start by talking about tracking your menstrual cycles and what your menstrual cycle actually is. So you have, when we menstruate, and I think most of us here either have or I guess will have, or, etc. We have about 4 phases that we go through, and we start off with the menstrual phase, which is when we're actually on our period. That's like our day 1. Then we move into our follicular phase, where we begin our ovaries begin the process to start to ovulate. Then we have ovulation, and then after ovulation, we have our luteal phase. Now, each of these phases activates different hormones and will make us feel specific ways. And I'm not going to totally get into it super deep today. I'm just going to talk about it and explain just like I don't know, like the first layer, so that we can talk about how that can affect our daily lives and how we can utilize the knowledge of what phase we're in order to create tasks, in order to decide and plan out our month so that we are not kind of going against the flow. So how do we track our menstrual cycle? Well, there are tons of different ways that we can track our cycle. You can, I know, I still remember from like 4th grade where they teach you do it like a little circle and then lines on your calendar to track your cycle. Thank God we don't have to do that anymore because we have apps like Clue. So I use Clue, and Clue, you put in like when your period is, you can like track your symptoms. Let me show you what it looks like. Come on. You can track your symptoms. You can, if you're trying to conceive, you can track how often you have sex. You can track your fluids. You can track all kinds of things. Of course, this is the one time that Clue does not want to launch for me. Weird. There we go. So if you haven't used Clue, and I know there are several different kinds, but this is kind of what Clue, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, see there, that's a little better. So you can see like I am in my fertile window, and I should be ovulating tomorrow. But because I've been tracking this, I can tell kind of where I am just based on what my body is doing, because the more you track your cycle, the easier you'll be able to kind of tell like what phase you are, or kind of what's going on with your body, because you're actually paying attention to it. It's not just like, oh, my boob hurts today. You're like writing it down, or, oh, my fluid was this way today. Or I'm cranky today, and I'm cranky in my luteal phase, and I'm, not cranky in my follicular phase or whatever. But I am going to talk about the different phases and kind of how we tend to feel. Hi, Caroline. It's good to see you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now that this live stream is not going to tell you how to sync your menstrual cycle to the moon, because I have found an alarming number of women on like woo-woo, spiritual, goddessy sorts of Facebook groups are telling women that they are supposed to be, naturally, they're supposed to be menstruating at the new moon, because that's when you're supposed to menstruate. Per the fiction book, The Red Tent. That is a great book, by the way, but if someone's going to tell you how that women are supposed to bleed at the new moon, they're full of shit. It is not natural to bleed at the new moon unless that's what your body wants. So you have your own personal cycle. Make sure that you love your cycle. I wouldn't try to change your cycle because your body is doing literally what it's supposed to do. Unless you do have some abnormalities, and you should probably go see a doctor about that. I probably just wouldn't try to change my cycle so I am flowing with the moon. If I'm going to flow with the moon, then I'm going to flow with the moon, because my body is amazing as it is, and my body just as it is magic. Just like your body just as it is magic. So that little rant over, I just want to make sure that we know what this actual live stream is going to be about. So again, we're going to talk about the 4 phases. I'm going to do kind of like an overview. I'm not going to go really super deep into it. There are some really good Facebook groups if you want to go deeper, and I'll tell you one at the very end that I am part of, but I'm not super active in it. But if you want to go a little bit further into syncing your life and what you're doing with your cycle, I'll tell you that, and then I will link it. Yay! You just started your moon today. Awesome. I'm ovulating. We are opposite. So I do have a couple other like resources that I will make sure that I do post in the comments. Okay. So why do we track our cycle and we plan our tasks? It's in order that we can like stay in the flow, no pun intended, but stay within the flow. We're going to go with what our body wants and what our body needs, instead of just trying to just stick things. Like if your cycle is going to make you tired today, it's probably not the day that you decide today's the day you're going to run 6 miles. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. So again, you might want to, if you want to, you might want to take some notes. It's up to you. I don't have like a fancy sheet for you or anything like I do sometimes, but I do want to go through these 4 cycles. Okay. All right. So the first part of your cycle is the menstrual phase. And again, this is like day 1 to 7. And of course, I'm going to give you like the number of days, adding up to 28 days, but everybody's, I'm sorry, my nose is just itching so much today. Okay. So everybody's cycle is going to be different. So your menstrual phase might not last 7 days. It might last 6 days. It might last 10 days. Everybody's cycle is different, and everybody's body is doing what it needs to do. So the menstrual phase is the first phase. Many times we feel tired, withdrawn, maybe introspective. For me, like, how do you feel when you're on your period? Like, post it in the comments. Like, how do you feel? Because I personally feel usually like my energy is being sucked out of my body. Just like the blood, my energy is like sucked out of my body. And sometimes I do feel introspective, but it's really like, I feel like really tired and exhausted, and it's hard for me to do the things. So when we're feeling like this and we're feeling tired, we need to honor that, and we need to honor those needs. And we can do that by taking time for ourselves. This is like the most self-care, like this is the best time for like what a lot of us think about as self-care. Like, pamper yourself, give yourself the space that you need, to honor your body and what it is doing. Because I mean, if you think about what we're doing, like our uterus is shedding its skin. And if that is not usually, at least for me, it is a thing. Like, I get bad cramps, etc. So it's really tiring. So make sure take some time to relax. Make sure you listen to your body. If your body wants to rest, make sure you rest. If you have cramps, sometimes it's good to get up and do some gentle exercise or gentle like tasks. Sometimes it's good to be on our feet and moving around. So think about some ideas for self-care and support that you might have when you are on your period. What do you enjoy? What does your body tell you you need to do? A lot of people take baths, a lot of people rest. That might be a good time to binge watch some Netflix. Or it might be, if you are a person who feels like they want to turn inward, it might be a good time to do some meditation, maybe some gentle yoga, whatever you need. Drain, cranky, tearful. Me too. I get tearful on PMS time. We'll talk about that in a second, because I do want to address that. So what can we do? You have to listen to your body. again, all of these things are really, it's all, I'm going to say, like, listen to your body probably a lot, but make sure that that's what you're doing. So some key words that come along with that, and some things when we're thinking about the tasks that we have to do for the month, and I don't mean like January, but if we're talking about like your cycle month, you know, your 28-day cycle month, visioning, creating your goals, working on your intuition, slowing down, analyzing any of the tasks that are on your list that kind of fall within this like planning stage. Again, making goals, creating lists, envisioning your future, that maybe you might want to make a vision board. It's a good time to kind of think about how you want the rest of your month to come out. So that is the menstrual phase. So the next phase I want to talk about is the follicular phase. And that's usually day 8 to 14. Again, your mileage might vary. We all have different days, but the feelings that usually come with this is like confidence. We get a little bit more energetic. We don't have a lot of like stress. Our hormones are allow us to kind of use our brain at 100%. So at this point, this is a good time to be, if you're an extrovert or if you have to people, I'll just say it like that. If you have to people, that is the best time to do it. So if you are planning a networking thing or a mixer or a party, your follicular phase is a good time for you to do that. It's also a good time to take on new challenges. You know, if you want to learn something new, if there's something that you know your brain is going to have to like engage 100% in to get things done, those tasks you want to place during your follicular phase. Okay. And some keywords are new projects. Again, we've got analysis, networking, socialization, friends. Like this is a really good time for you to reconnect with some friends. Again, that's your follicular phase. That's day 8 to 14. Okay. The third phase is your ovulation phase. Now, most people feel sexy and beautiful and confident and sensual. If you thought you were energetic during the follicular phase, like when you're ovulating, that is like your super energy time. So this is the time, this is again, day 15 to 18. This is the time that you want to schedule all of your super, super energy tasks. Like if you're going to clean your house, if you're doing a deep clean, if you are a business owner and you want to do some sort of launch, it's good to do that launch during this ovulation phase, because this is where you're going to have the most energy. You might feel super creative, more creative than you normally do. So some of those keywords are peak of energy, checking off lists, and being very active. So this is a good time for you to do some more active exercise. And again, just those energetic tasks that are going to take all of you. You want to plan those during your ovulation phase, which again is around day 15 to day 18. If you're on a 28-day cycle. And then finally, we have the luteal phase, which is day 19 to 28. And we go from being super energetic and we feel beautiful and confident and we're getting our shit done to we start to kind of wind down a little bit. Like our hormones make us like wind down. We get a little bit less energetic. We're not super tired, but we're feeling a little calm. We might feel like we need to organize things. We might be needing to nest. We may feel like we want to get organized. And again, at that point, we always want to listen to our body. So when we feel like that, the tasks that you might want to add in there is like, if you want to like take a day off for like a mental health day, to be like a homebody, if you want to organize anything, if you want to like do restorative yoga, again, and I really feel like this is another good time for you to look inward and work on meditation and things that are more chill. Also things that, need your attention to detail. That's another good thing to schedule during your luteal phase. So that's where our hormones and our brain is at during that luteal phase, day 19 to 28. Some keywords there are nesting, attention to detail, and decluttering. So those are the 4 phases. I'm just going to go over it really quickly one more time, just super quick. Menstrual phase, some keywords there are visioning, goals, intuition, planning, relaxation. Follicular phase starts at about day 8. New projects, you're feeling more confident, energetic. It's a good time to do socialization, good time to people, network, etc. Ovulation starts around day 15. You might feel sexy and beautiful and sensual and confident. And this is the time where your energy is going to be at its peak. It's a good time to schedule everything that needs all of your attention and all of your energy. If you need to schedule a 12-hour day, that's a good, good phase for you to schedule that in. And then finally, we have the luteal phase, which is like the winding down and your body's kind of getting ready to menstruate. And it starts at around day 19. Nesting, calm, organization, attention to detail, any task that can fall into that area, that's a good phase for you to do. So let's talk about PMS. And this isn't on my notes at all, but I do want to talk about PMS and the challenges that we have with that. So I don't know about how you feel during PMS, but I usually feel all of the things. I cycle pretty quickly through feeling all of the feelings. 1 second I'm super happy, next second I'm crying. If there is a dog on a commercial, I am a sobbing mess because there's a dog on a commercial. I have gone from yelling at my husband to immediately crying because I was yelling at my husband. So let's talk about that. Okay, so yeah, it's like the end of the luteal phase and you're getting ready to actually have your period. What tasks should you schedule during PMS? Your mileage might vary, but I'm super emotional and testing. I'm like, yes, stay away. And when you start, if you use Clue, and you put your PMS when in your little circle cycle that it shows you, it'll have little clouds where the PMS starts. And I'm like, why do I feel so crazy? And then I look, I'm like, oh, because I have clouds. So that's another really, really, really good thing about tracking your cycle, like down to the cycles and down, like when your PMS is coming and when your ovulation is coming, because not only can you schedule the tasks that align with the flow of your body, is that you will kind of know when you have PMS. And if you feel psycho, like I'm going to say psycho, because that's kind of sometimes how I feel when I have PMS. And again, not everybody has PMS. If you do not have any PMS, that is amazing. I didn't until like 10 to 12 years ago. And then like something happened and then I feel all the things. But what should you stay away from people? Yeah. So my main goal when I have PMS is to continue to not have bad relationships. So I honestly, sometimes I know that I am like a hormonal mess, and I cannot always control things that come out of my mouth. And if you know me, you know that I am like a very controlled person. I am a Virgo. I try to like not let my emotions get away from me. So PMS, when I'm feeling like that, like it's not a good feeling for me at all. So I tend to just kind of become a hermit for a day or two. And that means kind of staying away from people and if I'm going to go off on somebody, I don't want to go off on somebody. And if you don't have anti-anxiety medicine, if you have anti-anxiety medicine, that is a good time to take it. But in my opinion, because I also get very anxious. But if you don't, then I really highly recommend, spending some time with yourself, spending some time by yourself. And I know I mentioned that for one of the other phases, but like this is a really good time to take a bath and read a book and binge watch Netflix by yourself. Get to know yourself, remind yourself of who you actually are, and which is something I very, very, very highly recommend that you do on a regular basis. But when you are feeling happy and sad and angry and mad and all of the feelings, you know, feel those feelings, allow yourself to feel those feelings. Like that's fine, but make sure that you are not putting that on other people. You know, think about what you're going to say before you speak, you know, and just take that time as like a gift to yourself, a gift to your significant other and friends. And, you know, just do some introspective work. Again, meditate, relax, and don't feel bad getting high. There you go. Do what you have to do to not feel bad, you know, and what's even worse is when we do allow those feelings to come out and hurt somebody else or make somebody else mad at us, we feel doubly worse, right? Because we're already emotional mess, like, and then we're just beating ourselves up because we said something we didn't really mean and it didn't come out right, etc. So I really do try to just keep it to myself, you know, and again, that is why it's really important to track your cycles, so you know, so you can look and when you get really mad about something and you kind of think that you might be a little out of control. Like last month, I asked my husband to clean the bathroom. He didn't clean the bathroom. He said maybe tomorrow. I lost my mind. Lost my damn mind. And we ended up screaming at each other in the kitchen because, you know, my husband, if you yell at him, he yells back. That's just like how he communicates. He's like a very mirror person when it comes to that sort of thing. But like, I don't usually yell like ever. We never get in fights ever. We're screaming at each other. My father-in-law takes the dog. He's like, you don't need to see this. You're too young. And like takes the dog away. And the thing is, if I had looked at my phone and I knew that I was PMSing, I would have realized I was mad, but like the amount, like the Scoville rating of heat of anger, like I would be able to draw it down because I would know that that's not really how I'm feeling. That is how my hormones and my body it's making me feel. So when you kind of know that, you're able to kind of talk yourself off of a ledge. So I guess like my main moral of the story is track your menstrual cycles, because it will allow you to it will allow you to stay in the flow when you're choosing your tasks and planning your month. It will allow you to check in with yourself and your body and figure out what you actually need, especially when it comes to self-care. And 3, during PMS, like it's really good. So a lot of trackers will notify you when you have PMS. So I guess to let you know, hey, you might be feeling a little crazy today. Don't take it personally. It's going to pass in 2 days or whatever. Don't scream at your significant other or family because you're going to be fine. So if you take anything away from this video today, it's that you should track your menstrual cycles. And there are tons of apps for that. I love Clue, but I know that there are other ones out there. I think almost everybody I know uses Clue, but I'm not really sure if it's for iPhone or whatever, because I have an Android phone. So that's it for today's live stream, talking about aligning our real lives with our menstrual cycles. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys took something away from it, and I will talk to you later. Bye.